I have a quote from your friend Will Smith. He said, when I did I Am Legend, I sent Tom the script. He sent me back 4 hours of changes. Is that true?
I mean, we help each other, you know. I have friends will send me scripts, I send them stuff, and we kind of go back and forth. And whether they listen to it or not, I don't know.
You give it that much thought.
And you can see from that scene,
you're doing the same...
You're going to different levels.
Yeah, you're doing the same thing, and you hopefully will get to a certain
to the next level. And she's training me, and she just crushes me. Like, she's training me there, and I'm trying to give her the power at that point.
Right, yeah.
She didn't accept it.
Very gentlemanly.
It's like, you know, that was my first question.
Emily said she...
But I didn't tell anyone because Blunt hadn't showed up yet. She trained for 3 months for it. I knew it was going to be challenging. And
you were wearing...
like Wile E. Coyote in
these big, heavy costumes.
Yeah.
Why were you wearing heavy costumes? Couldn't they make that out of plastic?
Can't figure that out.
That would have been my first demand.
Like, when I got it on, I was like, there was no way to make it any lighter. And I never told her how heavy the suit was.
Yeah, right.
But I made sure I was there the first day that she tried it on, and she was doing her stunts.
And what was her reaction?
She cried. She cried. I was standing there. I was like, all the stunt guys left, and she cried. And I was, you know, I'm friends with her husband, John, and I'm like going, you know, her first stunt film. I'm doing it. I was just looked at her. I was like, what do you say at that moment when that's happened? I just looked at her. I thought, I just have to try to make her laugh. So I just was very serious. I said, don't be such a wuss. And she just stopped for a second, looked at me like, you're not giving me any... It just burst out laughing. You know? If someone asks me my opinion and wants to know, I'll go through it for them and try to help them and give my own viewpoint.
Can we go through my monologue for tomorrow?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll go through word for word.
After the
You'll
show.
probably read it and go, oh,
How many hours a night do you sleep? Is it more than 2?
You always want more. I mean, I sleep a few hours a night.
Is it right?
It depends. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes more, sometimes less.
When I hear about the things you're doing and I see how rugged you are and how many... it always makes me feel bad about myself. It really does. It makes me feel like I'm not squeezing the bar rag as hard as you are. Do you know how much Top Gun grossed the first weekend it opened? I looked it up on IMDb today, and I don't know if... I assume it's right.
It's 1.9.
Really? And somehow, I mean...
I know movies used to play for a year in the theaters. You'd release a movie, and it would just play and play. Now you got an afternoon.
I think yeah.
I think it's like an afternoon, and then that's it.
Ultimately made like $350 million or something insane like that, but it turns out that big tour you did was really for nothing.
She didn't accept it.
Very gentlemanly.
It's like, you know.
Well, that's one of those things that when you're doing it, it's hard for other people to complain about it. That's why you ruin everything.
Yeah, I had a
for everyone.
rule. No one was allowed to complain. No one was allowed to complain about it.
And do you actually like it, or are you secretly going, oh, this is terrible, but I'm just going to try to be positive and motor through it?
You know, I enjoyed it. And I feel like I've got to power through and motor through it. And it was worth it, you know. But there was one time Emily was constantly, you know, we had this deal. No one's allowed to complain about the suit. Of course, after the film, everyone said they complained about it, but just not
to you.
Not to me. Not in front of me. So I was like, fine.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem. I don't want to hear it. But yeah. So there was a time we were on the drop ship. There's this cool drop ship in the thing, and she was just like, "This is hard, isn't it? This is hard." And we were just in this. We were like sardines in this can, and I just said, "It's a challenge. That's a challenge."
That's all you would give.
That's all I gave.
You will take some satisfaction in that. Tom Cruise, everybody. The movie is called Edge of Tomorrow. It opens Friday. We'll be right back and listen to that on Boyz II Men. Please welcome Nicole Kidman. You look very beautiful. The last time you were here, I was tied up, and you
Right.
made probably the greatest entrance any guest has ever made in the 11 years of this show. I mean, that was really something.
I'm not doing that tonight. No. Well,
Well, we'll have a few
never
drinks.
know.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. Do we have that tape? Yes, we do.
don't!
Oh, yeah. Well, let's examine this here because
oh no.
that's you, and then the guy on the
so-
chair, that's me, the Rico Sanchez, and then what happened? Now, I think. Now, wait a minute. The tape. Something seems to be wrong with the tape. It's stuck. I don't know. It must be an equipment malfunction.
Get that off! It was so not that long. I mean, let's just...
And of course, you're not talking about your husband Keith in that clip. This is. Do you guys go on the road with Keith when he's out in the? Do you stay in the bus and everything?
Yeah, I love
You
it.
do. Oh, you like the bus? It must be a nice bus, huh?
Yeah, it's a pretty Mac Daddy
When you guys
bus.
get off that bus, do people go crazy? I mean, I would imagine you pull into a truck stop somewhere, like 6 people are gonna keel
No, we
over.
look... No. I mean, we look pretty rough when we get off that bus. You
It's
know.
not like you're pulling through Taco Bell
But
or something.
No, we've been known to do that.
Oh, you do?
It depends, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
What restaurants will you go through like a drive-through place?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even
It
imagine.
depends
what...
on the night. You know.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But they get to watch, you know, movies and stuff. But they also then get to be side stage, even though my oldest daughter can't. I mean, she's like, oh, I so don't want to go and watch Daddy play.
Oh, she doesn't, yeah.
I'm like, Sunday, at least act a little bit enthusiastic.
Yeah, right. And then she's going to hold you to that when she's 8 or something. She's going to be right
Well,
out there.
Keith's tough because he's like, her pitch, and I'm like, she's 3. So, but you know, musicians' ears, they hear the
especially
yeah,
Keith,
and he's like, I'm not gonna.
You marry
I'm
a
not
virtuoso,
sugarcoating it.
and he's going to expect the same of his children.
Yeah, and he's like teaching her chords and everything.
Wow, that got you. I
I'd
didn't.
say, well, anyway, let's just get off this because this is heading down a...
It's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse and worse.
Do you throw them at people, or is it are you throwing at?
Well, I wasn't. I was throwing it at a bear.
Oh.
A Paddington Bear, which is a... Paddington Bear is a film that I did that's coming out later in the year, but it's a kid's movie. It doesn't sound like it with the knife thrown. But yeah.
Yeah,
so
they're like adorable, like cartoon bears, right?
Yeah.
You're-
Well, he's not a cartoon bear. He's a bear, like a little bear.
And you're
He's-
throwing knives
he's
at him.
adorable. And they had to bring that down because it was too scary for the kids. Because when I sort of do stuff, I get very intense and I learn it properly and I do it properly. So I was doing, and they were like, no, this is way too much for a kid's movie. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've got, yeah.
That surprised someone?
But I can twirl a knife now. And
You can.
I can.
Wow. And are they sharp knives or are they like stunt
Yeah, sharp
knives?
knives.
You could twirl a knife. Do you do this at restaurants to entertain?
I was doing it for shock value. It's kind of fun. See, I've got the terminology now, don't I?
You're really blending in.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to see you. The movie is called The Railway Man. It opens April 11th. Nicole Kidman, everybody. We'll be right back with Allison Hannigan.